On this Wednesday edition of Now, the emotional conversation with a mother whose son's life was drastically changed by distracted driving.
There's an iPhone glitch prank thing going on with Siri. It's really messing with 911. We'll tell you about that.
Plus, we sit down with the governor's press secretary in an interesting interview in an unlikely place.
This is News Center Now. Awful and scary situation in London today. Thoughts and prayers going out on social media from Maine and all over the world to people caught up in a terror attack.
Here's what we know so far. A vehicle plowed into pedestrians near the Parliament building. Investigators say 4 people died, including the attacker and a police officer. 20 others are hurt. Police believe there is only one attacker, but they are still searching to make sure that is actually the case. You'll see the latest on this from London coming up on Nightly News.
A moment can be a second, a half a second, or 3 seconds. It really doesn't matter. His eyes weren't on the road where they belonged.
All right, this is something that keeps me up at night with 2 children who have their driver's licenses and a fear of all parents in that same situation. One of your children injured in a car accident, as lawmakers in Augusta are crafting legislation that could severely penalize texting and driving. One mother from Berwick wants to spread a very clear message: do not drive distracted.
Right. Chris Costa spoke with her recently about one moment that drastically changed her family's life forever.
It's one moment Melissa Jean will never forget.
I got the phone call.
What started as a family trip in mid-June ended in a life-changing car crash.
You're just trying to get the facts down. Like, what do you mean he's unresponsive? What does that mean?
Her son, 14-year-old Tyler Beeson, and his sister Mariah were traveling down Route 101 in Hampton, New Hampshire with their dad, headed for a Father's Day camping trip.
It's like, no, this didn't happen.
Police say just past exit 13, traffic slowed down. A driver hit their car from behind.
I remember rocking on the way to the hospital. To be honest, I probably would have never thought it would be this bad.
Tyler and Mariah survived, but both sustained serious head injuries. Tyler's more severe than his sister's.
The doctor came in and he said, that he wasn't hopeful.
Doctors performed an emergency craniectomy, removing a piece of Tyler's skull to relieve the swelling.
He had so much swelling, like it was beyond where his skull should have ended.
Her son, a lifelong athlete,
Does it sound good?
confined to a bed.
He really enjoyed football, but he really loved basketball. He was out playing basketball constantly. Okay. You feel that?
Now Tyler is home, minimally conscious, and requires 24-hour care.
He squeezed this hand. Nobody can tell me how much, if at all, he will recover. Just some days he shows us more than other days.
While her son will never be the same, neither will Brady Hallahan, the man who crashed into them.
I still think about it every single day. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping at night because of it.
In the state police crash report, Hallahan states that he glanced down at his radio. He says when he looked back up, traffic had slowed and he rear-ended the car that Tyler and Mariah were in.
Every day I wish I could go back, every single day. It was a complete accident. I was just a kid, and my whole life and your guys' whole life changed in the blink of an eye. And I'm so sorry.
Just one moment
Squeeze this hand.
can have a huge impact.
I couldn't get him to do that a month ago. It's incredible. I'm joyful. You know, I can forget what I've lost.
If that doesn't change anything for you, then you clearly weren't paying attention.
Yeah. So that was one thing when I left Melissa's home in Berwick. I was like, no more. I've done it before. We're all guilty of it. We've all done it at some point. So it changed a lot of things for me. And I said, you know what, my message can wait.
Well,
There's a lot of campaigns out there that say the same thing.
As
so.
I said, with kids who drive in my house, we have super strict rules about them. And that phone goes in the glove boxes before you even turn the ignition. I watch that, and my heart for that mother, I can't even, I can't imagine.
Right.
So a lot of people are asking, obviously, what's next for them if we don't really know what the recovery process will be. An important part of Tyler's recovery process is to get up and move as much as possible. So Melissa is trying to raise money for a handicap accessible van that is not covered by insurance and can cost more than $20,000. So she's asking for donations. If you'd like, we have put the GoFundMe page link on the web article with this story. As we said, everybody's a little bit guilty of at some point checking their phone for whatever the reason may be. AAA actually released a study about a month ago that said millennials are the worst behaved drivers. They take the most risks. So it says that 88% of drivers between the ages of 19 and 24 admit to risky behavior behind the wheel in the last month. 88.4% admit to either speeding, running red lights, or texting while driving. Now, it's not much better for other age groups where the vast majority of drivers admit to doing the exact same thing. Texting, obviously, one of those major issues. Pat Moody with AAA says attitudes need to change.
When it comes to public education, we do our best, but really what we need to do is get to the point where this is socially unacceptable. Until we get to that point, we're going to have tragedy on our roads that could be avoidable.
So the study also considers behaviors such as we said, red light running, speeding. We're going to post the study's full findings on our website.
A lot of people weighing in on this sad story. Never text and drive, says Helen Fields.
Yeah, Buzzard says very emotional and moving story. Hopefully it teaches people how important it is to not text, etc. while driving. Chris, great job.
Thank you. And
that's a hard story to do.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear really quickly before we go. Brady, the driver in this case, police say, and Brady maintains that he was touching the knob on his radio. He was not texting. However, we know that any type of distraction, regardless of what it is, definitely dangerous.
And you could hear it in his voice when he was talking to you about it. So that's all right.
All right, thanks
Thank
a lot,
you, sir.
Chris. Hey, it's March, but it doesn't really feel like it right now. Winter just not ready to let go yet. Oh, hey, Keith.
Oh, hey.
Welcome back.
Hey, guys. I can't believe you guys didn't think I was sick. I'm deeply, deeply hurt by that. Anyways, Arctic front has come through, right? And you may have noticed this. Look at these temperature changes over the past 24 hours. 23 degrees cooler in Portland than it was this time yesterday, and 27 degrees cooler in Lewiston. In addition to that, we have some gusty winds. With temperatures in the 20s and teens, it is very cold out there. It's been a huge swing over the past 24 to 36 hours with that Arctic front having come through. Some snow across northern Maine, accumulating snow, continuing over down east. Got another hour or two of that left. The rest of the state is actually nice and clear. Will be clear and cold tonight. Take a look at these overnight low temperatures. 7 in Portland, 7 in Augusta, 4 in Bangor, 2 below in Berlin, and 0 in Greenbow. Wouldn't be so bad for the beginning of February, but for mid to late March, obviously well below average. We got a couple things to talk about, guys. The pattern gets very active in the next couple of days.
All right. Thanks a lot, Keith. Hey, you have kids. You understand this. You ask Siri questions, and it's fun to see kind of what her responses are. But there's one question that's actually getting kind of dangerous. It's spreading across social media, and police are warning of how dangerous it can be.
It's really bizarre. If an iPhone user tells Siri a certain phrase, it automatically connects them to a 911 dispatch center. The phrase is 3 different numbers, 108. And of course, it's dangerous because, well, it can tie up dispatchers and take them away from responding to actual emergencies. There are actually posts being shared on Facebook encouraging people to try this prank. Police are obviously warning people don't and ignore them if they see posts like that. So here's a topic that we're seeing some passionate opinions on: safe injection spaces for drug users.
Right. The concept is simple: places where people can go to use drugs like heroin while being supervised by medical professionals. Jess, you started looking into this today.
Yeah, that's right. Safe injection sites are places staffed by medical professionals that provide clean needles, anti-overdose drugs, and treatment options to drug users. Now, right now, these kinds of spaces only exist outside of the U.S., but recently some cities and states have come forward to say they're considering the idea, including one in New England. Officials in Vermont held a press conference today saying they're creating a task force to look into if a space like this would help the opioid opioid crisis in their state. Advocates say it would save lives and decrease the amount of disease spread through sharing needles. There are still several issues to be discussed, like funding for the program and state and federal laws surrounding drug use, but officials are willing to look into it if it will save lives.
To truly make a significant impact, we have an obligation to explore all possible solutions to the opioid epidemic.
A lot of people are having to use in secret, so they may be alone, and if they were to overdose, there's nobody there to give them Narcan. So we definitely believe that there are people that would be interested in having a safer place.
In light of Vermont's decision, we wanted to know, is this something you think Maine should consider? A lot of people have commented that these spaces are enabling addicts, but we spoke to a Maine man who thinks this is the best path toward fighting Maine's opioid epidemic. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing that we had a bite with him, but we will actually get more into this tomorrow. And again, this conversation is ongoing online. We have hundreds of people that have already weighed in. So if you'd like your voice to be heard on this matter, go to our website to join the conversation, and we'll have more on this tomorrow.
All right, Jess, yeah, and voices already being heard just on this little short snippet here. Raymond says safe injection spaces is totally absurd. This is like enabling, and more comments and more comments. So
Helen says no, no, no. Yeah.
We'll dive much deeper into this tomorrow here on News Center Now. So.
Right.
All right, no matter what your personal political views might be, everybody can agree on this. This is a bipartisan issue. Working in politics is a fast-paced, high-stress environment. But you ever think about how politicians maybe unwind in their spare time?
Coming up on Now, we'll get to know a different side of Governor LePage's press secretary, Adrienne Bennett.
Many people may not know this about me, but I came from very meager means like the governor did, and I grew up in poverty. I had food stamps, and I remember being judged, and I remember growing up in that sort of lifestyle, and it's not easy.
For 6 years, Adrienne Bennett has been side by side with Maine's Governor Paul LePage as his press secretary. She's often defending him. She has a reputation for being a bit of a bulldog when it comes to politics.
We wanted to know, though, who she really is and how she ended up where she is today. And to find that out, I met her at one of her local hangouts. A powerhouse in the halls of the state capitol in heels. As press secretary for Maine's Governor Paul LePage, Adrienne Bennett has been by his side from day one in office.
Where are you, Mark? We have a great team in the governor's office. So is it stressful? Absolutely. You know, are the hours crazy? Yes, they are.
When that stress adds up, Bennett hits the gym. And based on her routine,
And then we can do the kip.
she's here a lot.
I can power clean.
What's that mean?
You want to do it?
Bennett works out sometimes twice a day, despite a very busy schedule.
I have a 17-year-old, and my boyfriend has a 9 and 12-year-old, so we're really busy. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on in our lives.
Okay, so stress level like 1 to 10. You see a bad article about the governor in the newspaper.
Depends on who wrote it and, you know, how inaccurate it is.
Stress level when Don Kerrigan calls.
I just hang up. No, just kidding, Don. Just kidding.
When the school principal calls.
My daughter's too good for that. No, no, she's not too good for that, but she's a good student, so that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen.
Try it with your foot out. Put the foot out. Like that? Yeah. I'm not even that flexible. You're very much a no BS kind of person, huh?
I can be like the governor, but I like to say, you know, on the softer side of things.
Softer, you say?
I'm not looking for sensationalizing the story and doing or reading a he said, she said story because it's sexier for you. I'm looking for substance. If you want to talk about what the governor's doing, what he's passing for policies, and how he's actually trying to help Mainers, let's sit down, let's have a conversation. Until then, I'm not talking to you.
Is the governor afraid of you, do you think?
No, he's not afraid of anybody.
Yes, sir, I did.
But his term does end in a year, which ends Bennett's reign in Augusta, at least for the time being.
Would I run for office? Who knows? I think I could do some good if I did, because of the understanding that I've gained and the people I've worked with who have taught me along the way. And I know this isn't the end. This hopefully isn't the peak of my career. Hopefully it's not the peak of my CrossFit, endeavor either, but it's going to be fun to see what's next.
Possible Adrienne Bennett campaign to come? We will see. Meanwhile, fun fact, Bennett dabbled in a music career under the stage name Poetress. I got her to bust a rhyme for me at the gym. You can find that on our Now Facebook page.
Check it out. Also, are you okay?
I'm okay.
The viewers are worried that you pulled a muscle.
I was sore for a week after, and I literally just did like a quick little workout with her. I tried to do a pull-up. I couldn't even do one.
That's a half one more than I could do. All right, when Adrienne isn't busy working out, she is busy working with the governor. Now, I got to spend some time with the governor today, and one of the things we chatted about was the fact that his staff says he's a workaholic.
I work hard, but I relax. They just don't see it. I play hard and I work hard. So when I'm with my wife and we go on vacations or we're at Booth Bay or we're alone, we have a lot of fun together.
More about my day with the governor next week on News Center Now. Well, Keith is kind enough to grace us with his presence and his forecasts. It's coming up next. So cold.
It's cold. It's so
What a
windy
change.
out.
Really all
What
I have to say to you.
happened?
It's cold.
Yeah, it's an Arctic
You have
front.
a cold.
Just
it's
haven't come through.
cold.
I know. It was a
All
really
cold.
aggressive cold, too.
Yeah.
It was like on my birthday. How could I? All right,
good
let's
to
talk
see you.
about it. I don't even think it works that way because Paula doesn't have it. So.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
true.
Not
she's,
yet.
she's stronger
It
than I
definitely
am.
works that way.
It's the
Trust me.
bottom line. All right. Current wind chill. It is cold out. Feels like 5 in Portland, 1 below in Lewiston, 1 below in Bangor. What's striking about this, of course, is that this is happening during the middle of the day as well. Still a lot of sunshine left over, and still these temperatures feel so cold, and they are so cold. Overnight tonight will be in the single digits in most spots, actually pretty much everywhere, and below 0 in the mountains and through Berlin, New Hampshire at 2 below there. So some near record low temperatures, and it's going to be chilly through the day tomorrow. Had that snow move out, that was part of our Arctic front and a little low that kind of spun around. Snow continuing over down east for the next half hour to an hour, and then after that it clears out, and most of us will be clear and chilly tonight. Nice bright day as we head through Thursday, pretty much start to finish. And then on Friday, clouds increase and a little bit of activity Friday night as far as light rain and light snow. That moves through and then kind of moves down to our south on Saturday. The pattern is kind of interesting going forward from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. We're in the same general pattern. It's kind of slippery. It's hard to put your fingers on. It's called overrunning. We're going to have a warm front down across southern New England. That warmer air is going to ride over the top of some colder air. That creates clouds, that creates precipitation. And we'll be in this general pattern for several days in which to the north of the front, we'll see that fall as some light snow. And then along the coastline and south of the front, it will be rain. The hardest part of this is that the front itself will kind of waver back and forth over the few days from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. So that will move with it that rain snow line. So the bottom line here is we could see some accumulating snow over the course of a couple of days over northern Maine and the mountains particularly, and even a little light snow along the coastline. But some of this happens on Friday, some of it happens on Sunday and into Monday. None of it is all that heavy. It's more of a nuisance though, and you can see that reflected in our 7-day forecast. It's kind of a messy forecast with rain and snow light on Friday night and then just a drop on Saturday. Should be dry on Sunday, then back to a mixture on Monday, dry on Tuesday, and back to some more rain and snow mixtures on Wednesday. I'd say as far as accumulating snowfall, the best chance of that happening, the most widespread, will be on Monday. So we'll watch that. Again, the coastline in southern Maine will have a harder time accumulating this than the mountains will. But basically, we're on an every other day plan that will see at least some form of rain and snow. Guys?
Riding this roller coaster of spring. Thanks, Keith.
Hey, 2 days in a row, it's this guy. Must be exhausted. Rob Caldwell's here. What's coming up at 5:30?
I may be taking tomorrow off for R&R.
Yes.
Please do, yes.
Well, Keith did, so go ahead.
Here are some of the stories we've got coming up on News Center at 5:30. A lot of people were surprised to hear about the decision by the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure to close its Maine affiliate. The Komen organization has done an awful lot for years to raise money and awareness about breast cancer. So why is it pulling out of Maine? Samantha York will have the story. And hard times may be ahead for Sears. Actually, the hard times are already here. The question is, can the company even survive? And if it closes, what will happen to the more than dozen stores in Maine? Those stories all coming up on News Center at 5:30.
All right, that is next. News Center Now continues after the break.
All right, brain drops time. This is a map. This is the map you've seen in school. It's been used in schools for 50 years. It's called a Mercator projection, okay? There's some problems with this though. So in Boston, they just decided to start using a different map in their schools. Let's show you that map real quick. This one here is called the Peters projection. Oh, we're still in the Mercator. Okay, here we go. You notice some big differences here. One of which is that the sizes are all relatively correct. If you go back to the older style map, Europe looks the same size as South America. South America is almost 2 times as large. If you look up towards Greenland, it's the same problem. It looks like it's the same size as Africa. It's 14 times different in size. So the argument was this was part of a Eurocentric worldview that the continents were so distorted. Bill, if we can, let's go back to the one that we're using in schools right now, and you'll see that as it goes...
It is pretty amazing.
This is more accurate. Africa is big, South America is big, Europe is not. And this is more accurate. Now look at it here.
Wow.
Look at Europe, look at South America.
That is a big difference.
The problem is it got distorted as you went towards the poles. Now that being said, there's problems with all map projections, because guess what? The Earth is not flat. But public schools are working
somewhere.
on it. Yeah. Actually, didn't some basketball player disagree with that?
Yeah. More news ahead at 5:30.